Welcome back to Slayers Anime Review, episode number 7. This one reviewing just 2 episodes this time, merely because I got going soon to take care of a couple things. So here discussing episodes 18 and 19 for the series, which means, yes, I do have 7 more to go for the season. Yep, 7 more. So we have it where in episode 18 opens up with Lena, Gary, and Amelia arriving at the city. And they sneak in at nighttime, and they wait nighttime to go in. And then, just by sheer coincidence, they run into a brand new character who's going to be here for the rest of the season. And also for the very next season's show, because we're introduced to a woman by the name of Steffel Niles Landa, who was voiced in this season by Stacey Crawford, who, for some weird reason, when she returned in Revolution, which I think that was season 4 of the show, they replaced a dub actress. Don't know why. It is kind of weird. Yep, brand new character. Apparently she kind of knows. So, we also introduced to a man named Eric, who is, well, basically he's Steffel's father. And they're brought to his very nice home, and of course, like they're here to figure out exactly, who put the bounty on their head, and figure out it's this woman, this mysterious woman named Eris. Who this woman is, we'll find out a little bit later. So then they go to her place, which apparently was one of Renzo's old places. Yes, because it's the first mention of Renzo the Red Priest. First time the name has ever been uttered since episode 10 of the show. Yes, and they go there, and then they meet her. Yep, this very beautiful woman named Eris, who's voiced by Rachel Nazand. And this is her only, unlike other characters who got their voice actors replaced, she did not. Nope. But she's around she's here for these episodes. I mean, she only has, about 5 more episodes she appears, and she only appeared technically in 1 book. Yeah. Yeah, and then, of course, basically reveals she's the one who basically put out the Boing posters. And it all relates to Renzo. Yep, all relates to him. So, then they have a fight scene, and then, of course, then we have Zengalis making his appearance, first appearance also since episode 10, with a brand new voice actor. Yep, this is the first one Christopher Freeman basically voices the character, and he voiced him from this point forward for the rest of the franchise. It's basically him because his voice actor dropped off the face of the earth. Well, the quote I've heard is they lost contact with him, along with pretty much any voice actor who was there except for the main 2. Except for the main 2, everybody else just disappears. Eric Stewart and Lisa Ortiz are the only ones here for the entire franchise. They never get replaced. Lisa doesn't voice Lena in the movies for some reason. I'm going to ask that to Lisa when I see her in a couple weeks. Why didn't she do the movies? It could be a different license. Then how come basically Gary was basically voiced by Eric Stewart in the 5th movie? Good question. So we have all this fun going on, and then we have someone go to a doorway, and it's Renzo. Which is immediately point out, though, this is not Renzo. This actually is the copy Renzo. And he is kind of the main villain he's also one of the villains we have for the remainder of the series. Now, here's the thing with this guy. Of course, yes, he is here for pretty much the rest of the season, obviously. But here's kind of the weird thing. His voice actor. His original voice actor, the one who voiced the original Renzo, was Charles Ralph. he left the role for some weird reason and replaced by Peter Davis, who apparently worked for them temporarily, probably just to do this one character. And this is something really weird. Apparently, behind the voice actors page claims that Charles Ruff is Peter Davis. I don't know exactly the reason for this. If somebody can contact behind the voice actors, figure out, hey, why in the world are they claiming that this voice actor is also this voice actor too? Yeah, I find that kind of bizarre, because I guess that means that basically we have a guy claiming two different names. Because the report I read here, that he left the show for unknown reasons, and then got replaced with this other actor for the remainder of the season. And then, of course, next episode they ponder how in the world this could be basically a copy. So Zangadas proceeds to do another separate investigation. He's gone for a lot of the episode 19 after they leave, after they had to retreat from the battle because nothing he can do. Renzo is later seen where he is in a laboratory that we see later on the episode, and oh boy. So then, of course, we have, during the course of the battle, believe it or not, Syphil shows up at this mansion. Yep, because she was worried about Gowry, and she proceeds to stay with them next episode. After all the introductions happen off screen, then of course she goes with them to the Sorcerer's Guild. Yes, this is the first episode they even mentioned the Sorcerer's Guild, which apparently they are a research laboratory. Yes, not really sure why. We're like, ooh, make a big donation. Like, is it possible to make copies? Yes, it takes a day and a night. Basically, it takes like one full day to cover it. But apparently, they basically rushed there. Like, we need a swordsman. Here's Gowry, and of course, Syphil's the one to take his hair because she's obsessed with him. Yes, she has fallen madly in love with him, despite the fact that, like, the thing is, he does remember her purely because she's a good cook. How about the fact she's a beautiful woman? Like Lena. Oh my gosh, yeah, this woman is gorgeous. Like, seeing her on screen, it's like, wow. Yeah, and she's dressed in a European garb uniform with the big shoulder pad thing. Yeah, I say European because that's the first thing I think of when I think this type of uniform. Because the Japanese, I highly doubt they even dress like this. Not even actually, they did eventually dress like this in the 19th century, thanks to influence from the British, because a lot of the government is based on the British government. So, by the way, the laboratory blows up, and then of course, like, oh, we need to find out where this laboratory is. That basically Rendo's old lab. Possibly have spells, maybe some treasure. So the five of them proceed to go there. Zangadas, Amelia, Lena, Gowry, and Syphil. They fly there, and then they're shot, kind of basically attacked by Copy Renzo, Zangadas. By the way, Vermigan, he's a copy too, and of course a lot of him were killed. And then of course they're fighting him, of course, and then Copy Renzo does something really kind of stupid. Yeah. He knows, oh crap, he's going to do a big spell. So, basically all of them gather in a circle, so they proceed to levitate, and somehow basically know what type of magic she uses. So, she's up in the air, and then Renzo proceeds to destroy half the city with a single strike to the ground from his frickin' staff, because somehow he's much more powerful than the original. Somehow, some way. They do have a flashback what happened in episodes 9 and 10 when he became a monster. But yeah, she is somber the fact that her father might actually be dead. Yes. I mean, he only technically appeared in that one episode. Yeah, but yeah, he's dead. And of course, basically, Sepho basically is sad the fact her father's been killed. Which any person basically feel that way if someone they love was killed in an explosion like that. Ending the episode. I gotta admit, these two episodes are a lot better than episodes 14 to 17, because we actually have plot happening here, not filler stuff. Look, I've got to say this when it comes to the particular series so far. And I enjoyed the characters. I like the story advancement. Not the biggest fan of the filler. That's the honest truth with me. Like, I don't mind the animation. The animation is not the issue. It's basically the filler stuff I don't like. Because it's stuff that means nothing. Like, and it's nothing on the voice actors. They're not at fault basically what happened in 14 to 17. Because it's its three characters on the run. And it eventually gets to town after delaying it for about a few episodes. Yeah. But in the case of Sepho, I would love to know the reason why that this actress was replaced. Because I have not heard exactly like what could be the reason why that they replaced Stacey Crawford. She was the voice of her with the first two series. Okay, so apparently she moved to LA, so then for the next two seasons, because the character was my guess is the reason why that she left at the season 2, probably because basically she probably thought this is the character wouldn't come back after that season wrapped up. Which in terms of novels, yeah, she was pretty much done after like volume 8 of the novels. That I'm looking at basically her appearances in season 2. It looks like she appears for a few episodes in that one. That's probably from book 8. Yes, it's probably from book 8 because she appears in books 3, 4, and 8. So that could explain that. But here's the weird thing related to the Slayers novels. She does appear in book 4, but apparently she only appears for episodes season 2, despite the fact that, well... So apparently she made her manga debut in Slayers super exclusive Demon Story Chapter 19, which I had not read it yet. But her first appearance in novel was Volume 3. So my guess is maybe they're integrating stuff with her in season 2 of the show. It's possible. Yes, I'm gonna ask. I have a bunch of stuff to ask Lisa Ortiz when it comes to seeing her in a couple weeks. You know, I keep saying that, but it's definitely gonna be true. I'm gonna be asking her a lot of stuff related to Slayers because I'm hoping she has the answer to it. I'm sure she does, despite the fact it's been over 20. It's been like probably over a decade since she voiced Lena. I'm sure she'd be happy to hear that I actually watched Slayers, just the first season, mind you. But I finally got a chance to watch it. Yep. But not much to say about these two episodes. They're really good. I actually enjoy these ones. I would say this is probably the first enjoyment I've had for this show since, like, prior to these watching two episodes, I would say this is probably the most interesting 2 episodes I've watched, episode 10. Yeah, because episodes 11 and 17 are over the top with its comedy. I do like some interesting stuff. So some of that happens with the course ships. Like I like Nega's cameo in episode 17, even though she wasn't voiced by her, even though her voice actress didn't come to the show. But it was nice the fact that she was acknowledged in the show, which is nice. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it. Particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. So I'm gonna head off for a bit. I have a couple things to take care of, and when I get back later, I'll probably finish the remainder of the show. Okay, thanks, people. Well, season anyways. Bye.